Alright, I got something else for you guys today. Something I've shown another iteration of before, but here's a later revision of it. Check it out. Here it is, a 1971 Zenith Transoceanic radio. This is a very, very well-built radio. Everything folds up into a nice case. It's got leather on the sides, chrome bordering it. And this would have been one of the best radios you could get at the time. This would have been not just more of a status symbol because it was, the best you could get. So I'm going to try and show you how this works. But the top lifts up. And at the top here, you can see it has a chart that you can organize the time zones with. So you line up, you can line up your time zone. And it's a Transoceanic with that cursive font that, you'd see on the Chryslers back in the day, where they would try to, chalk up the Brougham, the Cadillac, or the Chevrolet. They would have that swoopy font. Underneath that is the main tuning dial, which, let's see, the main tuning dial is this rotating drum, basically. And it's a very interesting, I'll show you how that works in a second. And then underneath this comes out, and then that's everything else. You got a compass that you can orient yourself with. It's not actually built in, you have to turn it. And under here is the logs and charts. So you can see it's copyright 1968 to 1971. I think this model came out in 1968, and this is the 71. This particular unit was built in 1971. This is all the different radio stations. Now, how many of these still exist? I don't know. Probably you'd like to think it's a lot of them, but probably not. It's been, 50 years now? Over 50 years. Yeah, you don't think about that. The one thing that I really like is that it has a dial light. It's kind of hard to see. It's really bright in the dark, but I have this ungodly bright light up there, so it's kind of difficult to see. Let's see if I can get it better. I mean, you can kind of see it. Just know that it looks better than it does on the camera. Under here, another weird thing is it's got this dial light. So how does that work? It's actually a light, just a light bulb. It's a regular light bulb. It looks really, really dim on the camera. I'm surprised, but it is quite bright. And what that's for is you can take out the charts and read them at night. So if you want to, I want to read this, you turn on the light and it plays. Or it turns on, which is it's little gimmicks like that you don't really see anymore. Just a flip out random light bulb in the front of your radio. So now I'm gonna turn it on. Hopefully it works. Alright, I'm gonna have to talk over this, but keep in mind, right now we're in the basement, the lowest part of my house, and the antenna is completely retracted. So that implies that the antenna extends. And oh boy, does it extend. Are you ready to see this? You might have seen that video I made with that walkie-talkie a while back. How comical that was. Well, this thing's about 4 feet tall, I believe. And the good thing about this one is you can raise and lower it with the thing open and closed, unlike in the 50s one. So let's hear how good that sounds now. Okay, it actually made it worse. Okay, let's just see if you can get it better. You've got the tuning dial down here.
That's why it's defensive rotation. Because you don't want
Keep in mind, this is the basement. This is in the worst reception under, feet and feet of wood and dirt and stone, and it's still getting this channel, and a lot of other radios have really struggled getting things down here. And it's still getting, you know, most of the band. There are radios that only get this stuff, you know, in the open. Now, something else is, of course, it has the many different bands. How many bands? Well, let's go through it. You've got the weather. Somewhere. It's there, trust me. FM, or frequency modulation. And then you get long wave. Broadcast, I think that's AM? Pretty sure that's AM. Weather and marine. Every so often you'll get something that you're not expecting. And then there's more weather. And I assume these are the same things, but look at how many different bands there are. I think that's what, 11? Yeah, 11 bands. I remember one time I picked up some insane conspiracy theorist just rambling on one of these shortwave things, and he was talking about how he hated Twitter because he was like, "Oh, I hate them because they didn't reinstate me," and you could probably understand why they didn't. But this is a very interesting, very nice, extremely high quality device. It could run off of batteries, although the contacts are incredibly rusted, so I currently have to use it off of wall power only. But the dial light actually has its own light battery, so I can actually turn the lights on even when it's not plugged into the wall, which is kind of a strange choice. But it's got a nice extendable handle that folds back in. Everything is really easily accessible. Now, it doesn't... Oh, I didn't turn it off, did I? It does... It feels, you know, it's got a good quality to it, but I feel like the quality on the... It's got a lot of plastic on it. It just seems kind of cheap to me until you open it up. The one from the 50s definitely seemed of a higher quality, but then again, that's part of the course with most things from the 50s. Something really cool is it's got this plug here, and when you take it out, it has a spring loaded lock that you have to open up, so I guess say you don't want water or dirt or grime in there or anything. Hey, and it has a headphone jack. I didn't know that. It's got a really small proprietary plug, too. I mean, it might be used elsewhere, but I've never seen it before. So, there we have it. The 1971 Zenith Transoceanic radio.